the mind. We hear a lot about the mind these days, and if we're being honest, I think at least, the mind gets a bad rap. Now, perhaps you're familiar with the quote. I am not familiar enough to actually give the specific quote. However, it's something about the mind being either a great ally or a terrible master. And what I want to talk about in this video today is a reframe that I've been allowing myself to go on lately, which is words borrowed from a mentor of mine. I've been borrowing a lot of things from mentors lately, it seems. My mentors, this is why I oftentimes am friends with my mentors, because they give me a lot of not only inspiration, but information as well. Just a lot of joy and peace and encouragement and support and knowledge along the way. Anyway, what this particular mentor had said is that the mind is an empty space for the heart's visions. And that's the reframe I wanted to give you for your mind, because like I was saying, a lot of the time these days when we talk about the mind, when we talk about the mental space, we have a tendency to talk about the not so hot, not so fun aspects of the mind, the ways in which the subconscious is, 95% in control of us. And that's something that most people don't even realize still. And, there's a lot of junk that goes into the subconscious as a result of all of our different types of consumption, which is a tangent I should go on another day. At any rate, everything that you're consuming with your eyes, your ears, everything factors into what's manifested in your physical, tangible reality. So it's really important, and I've spoken about this before, and I know I will again, as it's coming up now, be speaking about the importance of literal consumption, as in the literal foods that you're eating as much as what you're watching, and the lyrics of what you're listening to. Understand the main thing about it is that whatever it is you're intaking will, if it's lyrics or visions from the TV, will, whether you like it or not, seep into your unconscious. And again, whether you like it or not, this was a tough reality for me to accept this one. It will manifest in your reality. Like I said, like it or not. And if you're questioning this, try it for yourself and find out. I mean, you will be shown evidence that I'm not full of it. The reframe I wanted to give you is that if you think your mind is against you, or perhaps worse still, if you think that the universe and the world in general is against you, I'd really like to offer you this reframe. Instead, allow your mind to be an empty space for your heart's visions. If you're kind of like, that's a bit esoteric for me, can you break it down a little more simply? Yeah, let me try. Try is a fail word. Let me give it my best shot. So, as the mind can be either a terrible master that runs us with like a whip and chains, or it can be a potential really great ally, saying that the mind is an empty space for the heart's visions essentially means like allow your mind, instead of falling into negativity and doubt and self-worth issues and fear and worthiness and all of that stuff, allow your mind to become this like positive playground for the things that you imagine in your head that excite you, that are fun. So for an example, like with me, one of my many, many dreams is to have a geodesic dome greenhouse. Now, this is probably some ways in the future. However, the point of me using that is just so that you guys have a tangible, visible in your mind's picture of what I'm talking about. And so for me, it would be allowing myself to envision. So for me, for example, what I would do is imagine having this greenhouse now and the things that I would do in the greenhouse. These are positive examples of how you can constructively, positively use your mind. And not in a toxic positivity kind of a way, in a very constructive, tangible way. One of the things, if I haven't spoken about this on my channel, I will have to do a whole thing about it. If I haven't spoken about it, what I'm saying is my brain is very specifically wired for efficiency, and it looks for that in almost every single thing. And so even here, it's like always wanting to give you guys the fastest track forwards, which in some ways is good. And in some ways I'm like, you know what, world, we meaning me, I should slow down some and smell the roses, because that's not something I've done much in my life. I've done a lot of hustling and really going and getting it. And I'm in a phase of my life where I'm really learning and embracing the whole being present and allowing myself to become a magnet rather than following after, chasing after things. It's a really, that transformation within me over the last year and a half or so has been a big deal and a really big shift for me internally and externally. So again, what I want to remind you is that you can take your mind two different ways. You can allow it to be a horrible master who, again, can be very grueling and brutal and self-judgmental and all those sorts of things. Or you can allow your mind to become one of your greatest allies. So instead, allow it to become a playground for your heart space. So everything that you can imagine that excites you, allow yourself essentially to imagine and let your mind do that instead, if you get what I'm saying. It's kind of similar to meditation, except for that where in meditation, the goal is to calm and, essentially take your mind out of the game so that you don't have a mind at that time. You are mindless intentionally. This is kind of like using your mind with intention. The difference is you can be subconsciously controlled by your mind, or essentially you can give your mind a task to do. And what I'm saying in this context with this quote, the mind is an empty space for your heart's visions. I just love that wording. I had to write it down. That's why I keep looking down. It can be this beautiful playground. And when I look around in my external reality, I see oftentimes a lot of people who have just given up on their dreams. And it makes me so sad because I know that these people have these dreams for a reason. And the same applies to you. Whatever your dreams are, you have them for a reason. You have them because you're meant to actually create that thing, to express that thing, to go to that place, to do that thing, to see that person, whatever your dreams are specifically. And I really wanted to give you guys this quote as a potential shift that you can borrow for your mind to what it is essentially doing is retooling your mind to become your ally, because you're basically giving your mind an intentional job. Like, hey, instead of, you just screaming and yelling at me about do this, do that, and we're losing time or whatever, what if, you instead let me imagine our greatest possible future. And it's really quite amazing when you allow yourself to do that, what a shift you can have internally. And that coupled with, if you're working on your own worthiness and you have, let's say, conquered, for lack of graceful phrasing, conquered your self-worth issues, then those two things make magic together. They really do allow the world to change in many, many ways. So I invite you to allow your mind to become the empty space for your heart's visions, because what you have in your heart is largely, I feel like I always say this these days, your heart is so valuable, and that's one of the main things of importance in your life, and it is your guiding light, is the thing in your chest, that heart that keeps you alive, whether you pay attention to it or you don't pay attention to it, whether you feed your temple in this vessel correctly or you don't. Thankfully, it keeps going. It keeps on beating no matter what is going on. So allow your mind to become a fun play space rather than a place, and I say this with very much empathy as somebody who has come from a place of where my mind used to be very much like a prison, and now it is much more of a playground of ooh, let's see what we can do, what can we cook up today, who can we make smile with weirdness, or what strange thing can we do today, because that used to be something that I shied away from, and turns out it's part of my charm, I guess you could say. I'm not saying that about myself. It's more of what I've noticed people seem to be reflecting to me. And I'm like, really? You find me charming? Are we really using that word? So I'm just enjoying being comedic, honestly. I'm enjoying having fun with you guys. I'm enjoying allowing myself to be more quirky and to be more of my fun side. Because as weird as it is, for a lot of my life, I didn't actually allow out these sort of quirky things that would pop into my head. And thankfully now I'm at a point where I'm fully surrendered, and no matter what anyone says, so if I have a funny thought come up in my head nowadays, I'll just say it. And if it's, if it lands and it's just insert cricket sound, well then, so what? At least I gave it a shot, And then on the other hand, if it ends up making a whole bunch of people chuckle, then it's a win for me. So I hope this video has helped you on some level, because realize that we can work with our minds. They do not have to be these terrible masters. They can instead become like a breeding ground in the most positive way for all of your visions and all of your dreams, and it can help to fuel you and keep you inspired. So you can turn that thing between the ears into your ally if you would like. If you would like coaching, you can, as always, reach out to me here at this email address. Please do like the video, share, and subscribe if you like my kind of content, as I post every single day. With that, have a beautiful and blessed rest of your day or night, and I will see you, beautiful cats, in the next one. Much love. Namaste. Bye. But that I'm not a person external to myself, so I couldn't actually respond. Anyway, you know, what I mean by try as a fail word. Let me give it my best shot. I've done a lot of hustling and really going and getting it. And again, like everything that you're consuming with your eyes, your ears, everything factors into what's manifested in your physical, tangible reality. I can really words today, guys. We should, we meaning me, I should slow down. Ooh, let's see what we can do. Like, what can we cook up today? Like, who can we make smile with weirdness? Or like, Superwoman, here I am to save the day.